Hey everybody, this is Smack That Waffle. I'm bringing you a cool game type that my brother-in-law made up. He's gonna be telling you about it. But this gameplay, it doesn't really matter about it. But it's a game battles that I did with my friend Smack That Bacon, and he for some reason wouldn't play on defense. Like he wouldn't be able to join, and it got really frustrating for him. And yeah, so that's what happens. Here's my brother-in-law.
Hey, how's it going? My name's Ryan. I play a little bit of COD, really not much. In fact, frankly, I will be the last every time. I die like crazy, but I still have fun. I don't play a lot, but it is fun. I also kind of like superheroes, and I'm not a crazy fan, but I like them a lot. I grew up with it and all that, and we were just talking, and I was thinking, what would be sweet is superhero COD. It would. I'm not saying like have Spider-Man running around the map or something. And you can't exactly have him like climbing up the walls and climbing over buildings, stuff like that. You'd have to rebuild the whole game engine, but you could do perks that are already within the game and just adjust the powers to kind of give the spirit of the character. You know what I mean? So here's a couple half-baked ideas. Like Spider-Man, for an example, could run a little bit faster, and he could like jump over larger obstacles. You'd have radar within a certain range, kind of the spider sense and obviously the spider agility. And then he'd be able to detect explosives, part of the spider sense. And I don't know, maybe throw in like a send out to the Uncle Ben storyline where you could see like the last guy who killed you and go avenge your death or something. I don't know. Wolverine, my favorite character growing up, could heal faster. Obviously, you just recover from getting hit nearly immediately. You could run a bit faster, and you could take more hits, almost like body armor. But you could definitely knife faster and from a much increased distance. And you could definitely hear footsteps and have like a proximity radar, kind of like a heartbeat sensor. Because, Wolverine could smell and he could hunt, and it's pretty sweet like that. But some of the best game ideas that came are beyond that, like Gambit, for an example. Now, Gambit could charge objects with kinetic energy, most famously cards, and he'd throw them and they blow up. It was awesome. So every shot that you take would stun a little bit. I don't mean like a full flashbang or stun grenade, but like a quarter, just something enough to slow the opponent down. You could probably take them out from there. And every piece of equipment becomes explosive. So grenades are obviously explosive, but now they're more explosive. And C4 and all that, yeah, obviously. But then like smoke, when you throw out a smoke grenade, it explodes and throws out smoke. Throwing knives even become explosive. So it's like you narrowly miss a guy. Well, you still probably got him with the explosive. So Gambit's pretty sweet. Then you can go into other things like Flash. Now, you can't let somebody, you can't have everybody else slow down. That'd be lame gameplay. But you could have infinite run, and you'd be faster than Marathon and Lightweight Pro. And you'd also want to do things like faster reloads, similar to Sleight of Hand. And the unfortunate thing, you have to have some kind of balance to the game. So maybe make it to where Flash is always on radar. Like anybody could always see him, but the problem is he's running way faster than anybody else can. So he's kind of got the edge there. I told you some other ideas like telepathy. So not telekinesis, but telepathy, like Professor X or Jean Grey. Picture this: you can see the full radar constantly, like it never goes away. And you can also see people through walls, kind of like SitRep Pro. Well, yeah, you could see explosives through walls, but you could also see actual people. And you could see through smoke or anything like that, kind of like a, what is that? Thermal scope. And everyone would have a larger gamer tag. Basically the whole idea behind the telepathy is they can sense everything and they can mess with people's minds. So obviously you have hypersensitivity. You could hear footsteps more, all that. But you have to make it balanced. If you're hyper aware of everything on the map always, you won't be able to run. So sorry, no running and slower knifing. You have to balance it somehow. Another cool idea here is Nightcrawler. Sweet Nightcrawler. He was the circus guy and he could teleport. He was all blue and tattooed. So I was thinking, well, we kind of already have that. It's the tactical insertion, but you can destroy that. So make an indestructible tactical insertion. I'm not sure if you should be able to remove it or not and move it around the map. That might be too powerful. I'm not really sure. Gameplay would tell whether that's doable or not. But anyway, you throw down your tactical insertion anytime you want, and you can teleport back to it at any time during gameplay. And that way, if there's a certain place you want to cover, you throw down your tactical insertion, you run out and do something else, you can teleport straight back to it. Now, rather than throw down a trap for yourself for everyone to surround, you can see what's at the tactical insertion, just like a camera spike, from Black Ops. And that way you could see what's there before jumping into a trap and hurting yourself. Plus, every time that you teleport, you appear in a puff of smoke like a Willy Pete, so people can't see you anyway. That'd be kind of sweet. One of the other powerful characters, leader to the X-Men, besides Professor X, Cyclops. Cyclops, he had that really powerful beam blast from his eyes, but you can't really do that on this game. What you could do, though, is have the ability to zoom in just like a sniper rifle, but with iron sights. So no need for a scope obscuring your view or anything. Just pick up a handgun, zoom straight in like a sniper rifle. The problem is you couldn't have sniper rifle power. You can't let somebody pick up a 9 and rip off 10 rounds with a sniper rifle capability. You'd have instant quick scoping. So all guns retain their same power, and in order to avoid unfair quick scoping, I don't think Cyclops would have to or would be able to carry sniper rifles. But explosives would be cool too, like if you wanted to do like an RPG or whatever. Yeah, that'd be pretty sweet. And picture that, sniping across the map with a 9mm handgun or anything, doesn't matter. Then I was thinking, something that's kind of missing from that whole element is the Iron Man or Batman type. Now, both these guys have the same thing in common. They're billionaires. They're just human. But they have so much resources and smarts. They're just super intelligent. They've got so much at hand that they can make up for it. So the Iron Man Batman perk would be you'd be harder to kill. You'd have body armor. You'd survive explosives better, kind of like Flak Jacket or Blast Shield. And you would start instantly with a Predator missile, a turret that you could lay down, of course, claymores or C4, grenades, and flashbangs. So a full complement of stuff. Plus, you could carry 2 primaries. And so you can see it's kind of like Batman and his utility belt or his gadgets, or Iron Man with all the things he builds into his suit. You come fully equipped to the battlefield. No, you don't have the other like superhuman powers, but you make up for it. And then you can just keep throwing the same idea out there. Just follow the same character of the comic book character and put it out on the COD. So like Thor, I don't know how exactly you'd make it, but he'd be harder to kill. Obviously, he's a god. He can't get stunned, and he carries flashbangs. Kind of a send out to the whole lightning factor. And he jams all electronics near him. All electronics got to go, kind of like an EMP. Plus, he's got a thunder and lightning, so he can rain down death from above. The Predator missile is only 3 kills. The Reaper would be 6, and the Osprey gunner would be like 12 kills. So a lot easier to get those the death from above, basically. I especially like the idea of a Reaper with like more missiles or something. I'm not really sure there, but the idea is Thor rains it down from above. So yeah, that's pretty much the idea. They don't have to look cheesy, just be the same guys, just upgrade the perks.